My name is Pisarenko Yulia Vadimovna, maiden name Prosolova Yulia Vadimovna. Born on the 13th of July, 1988. Could you please tell us where, when, and under what circumstances you were detained? I was detained in Mariupol. It was October the 20th. More precisely, it was the day from the 19th to the 20th of October. I arrived in Mariupol, got out at the bus station. Then two cars blocked the road. Someone put a bag on my head and took me to torture. Where were you transported to? It was a kind of a closed garage facility. As it turned out later, it was a refrigerator room in Mariupol airport. I was staying there for quite a long time. My mother was searching for me for 11 days. It was only 11 days later that I was officially detained in Odessa. Were you subjected to any torture or abuse? Yes, they resorted to violence in every possible way. Well, could you be more specific? I was raped. I was strangled. I had my fingers broken. They used to put me in a bag and start digging a grave for me. Actually, all of this continued on and on. Was it ongoing the entire time that you were in Mariupol? Yes, it was. And who was doing that to you? Those were some people I didn't know. All of them were wearing masks. Did they use any names? No, they didn't, but they communicated in Russian. They didn't speak Ukrainian to me. Were you alone in an isolation cell? It was no cell at all. I was kept in an abandoned premise, sort of a basement. Was there anyone else beside you? Yes, they were. They were there, and they would beat me up the whole time. They made mincemeat of me. They bruised every inch of me. Then, after those 11 days of abuse, where were you transferred to? They took me to some place in Mariupol first, to a house. They tried to wash the blood of me there, to make me look more or less acceptable, to dress me up, so that later they could take me to Odessa and carry out official detention proceedings there. And by whom were you officially detained? By the Security Service of Ukraine. These people handed me over to the Security Service of Ukraine. During your stay in Mariupol, when you were tortured, were you forced to make any statement? Yes, I was, of course. Was it recorded on video? Yes, they were taking video. Why else would it end up lasting for 11 days? That is because they pressured me to confess to something I had no idea of, the murder of Colonel Harabirush. Did you confess? Well, it might have been the 8th or 9th day. I cannot say for sure. Yes, I did. I was given drugs there. I mean, I was permanently drugged. I wasn't fed that entire time. Yes, they wanted me to make a confession, to confess on camera, for them to take a video that they needed to take. Was this confession used later, when you were the Security Service of Ukraine, as an evidence against you? No, it wasn't. Afterwards, I entirely admitted my guilt myself, for they were threatening my family. Was it the investigators who threatened? It was the Ukrainian Security Service investigators when I was held there. When my mother visited me, they told me they wouldn't let her leave the place should I refuse. What was your sentence? 12 years. How much time did you actually serve behind the bars? 688 days. And where were you doing your term? In which prison? In Ternopil, Western Ukraine. When you were in a prison facility of the Security Service of Ukraine, were you subjected to any torture or abuse? It was psychological in nature. I was kept in solitary confinement for a year, and every time my mother would come and try to pass me something and help, I was told that she would never leave the place. The people you were imprisoned with, those who were also detained in connection with the developments in Donbass, did they ever tell you whether they had ever been tortured or abused? I was in Western Ukraine. There was the only woman who had posted a St. George ribbon and was detained as a terrorist. She was called in for questioning. They talked to her. She got out of the car, they put explosives in her bag and locked her up for 6 years for posting a St. George ribbon on her page for admitting that she loves Donbass. There were no other people like that. It was Western Ukraine. That is, the people there were utterly opposed to me rather than those in my situation.